So we move over to the key elements in the kitchen and brand management. Remember, we are using that metaphor of a kitchen as a brand, but now we want to really dissect these key elements, right? Okay, please go ahead. So the key elements here, we want to look at some things. How do they actually correlate? I know I was talking about it, but let's now clearly articulate it in terms of some key things that is very good to take note of. Remember, I said initially that those elements that we mostly talk about, that I put on the screen initially, I think on the third slide, is not all to it about a brand. There's actually more. Here, we're talking about measuring the quantity of each ingredient. There's an ingredient to be used, but guess what? You have to be able to measure the amounts to use. Measurement is one key thing that you would know if you're in the kitchen. If you don't know what measurement is, you cannot cook a good meal. It's not possible. You must be precise. You must know the quantity of salt to put in a dish. You must know the quantity of spice to put in. If you're serving non-particular tribe people that they don't like too much pepper like that, and then you pack a lot there, no, you're not creating a palatable meal for your audience, right? So that's where there are so many things to consider. Look at it in the kitchen, too much spice, too little salt can ruin the dish. Precise measurements is really, really important to balancing the flavor. Then when you look at the brand management, you can see, oh, I put something here and I really want someone to answer, or some people to come in here and give in their opinion. Too much marketing without authenticity. When you're saying something a lot, what does that depict in terms of a brand? How do you think that can work in brand management? It can come off as pushy, but I want someone to give us whether you've experienced something like that. You just feel too much marketing. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I can put something here. So there's a university that I was interested in. And simply because I placed my email there and my number, I started receiving tens of emails in 1 week. I started receiving phone calls, SMS messages. It was just all over, sharing literally the same value, even though I told them, like, I will reach out when I'm in this process. I'm the one who's going to be reaching out. They still continued until I unsubscribed fully and told them, like, I don't, it's putting you off. Now I'm just not interested in their school anymore. And I don't have any particular reason. I just don't want to go to that school because of the aggressive marketing they've done. So I would say it would achieve the opposite of what people want. It would make people go away and avoid that brand because they have that negative association of someone who's just aggressively bonding on your head. Come here, come here, come here. You don't want to come there anymore. So that's what I would say.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Abiba. You know, that's actually a very good example. Thanks for sharing that. Because really, being too aggressive, sometimes you question the what do I say now? Not the credibility, the value. You'll be wondering, are you sure this university is all that is, you know? Because in a way, the ones, if you look at how, let me just put in context, the celebrity world, they explain. Why do you think some celebrities will just enter into a meeting, right? Or enter into an event and they just spend few minutes, they quickly leave. Or they just make sure that there's that scarce, they make themselves scarce a little. It's the thing that people tend to weigh with how they feel like if you're being present everywhere, it sort of reduces how people perceive your value, right? Either they just feel, the person doesn't have enough work, or the person is not doing much, you know, or the way they're marketing, you'll be wondering, am I the only person you want in your university, right? And you'll be wondering, "Ah, I don't think they are teaching well. Why are they being so aggressive?" Marketing is great, but you must be able to balance it. So that's why even when you're trying to push out what's it called, for instance, you want you want people to join a program, aggressive marketing is good to actually market, right? Everything has its pros and cons, but you must just be able to create that balance. Know when to stop speaking. Know when you can continue speaking. First of all, do you even know the level of interest of that of your audience or consumer? And that's why there's something we do in marketing, which is audience segmentation. I know in a way we face some kind of constraints in that area in CCO. I know we'll be getting better, because the more you churn out the same content to the same sets of people, that you haven't segmented those that are interested in what, some will be pissed off with the information that you're giving out, because you're just giving me too much, right? So you have to sort of be very, very mindful of that. I believe in our various teams, let's put that in context. And sometimes when communications tell you, we want to put this structure in place where maybe this day is for us to put out things related to CEP, it's helping our audience to easily digest. And before you know it, the audience themselves will depict it that, oh, CCO have a way of, on a particular day, everything you see is just related to the work they are doing in the creative economy practice. And then maybe on the other day, they just know that, oh, it's the work they are doing related to design for health, rather than just we put this design for health, we slap them with CEP on this side, then we say we knock you on this head with which one again, right? So it's let's treat everybody receiving our content as humans, right? And how is it getting to them? Yes, Busola, you work on the speed. Now let me run like flash. Let's move over to choosing the right ingredients. I talked about that initially in terms of high quality, fresh ingredients. It's make a huge difference. The way Uds Cuisine Kitchen would look for very rich, even the color of the tomatoes must actually speak to how they want their end goal to be, which is their outcome, which is the dish, the presentation of that work of art. You know, they have that at the back of their minds while they are getting their fresh ingredients together. That's the same thing in brand management, using the right tools, the right social media platform to use, podcasts, how are you running the podcast, how are you engaging the community there, things like that, you know, it just all matters so well. People team will be sharing this presentation because I really want us to find time, even in our different teams. You know, you could just tell someone in the team, use 5 minutes to just brush through this presentation again, just to keep refreshing us, because branding is like a marathon. It's not a sprint. And we'll get to a place where we'll see a brand that sort of missed it in quotes, you know, something like that. So let's look at, thank you very much, Sola, for the comments. Then let's look at this timing and cooking duration, right? Some dishes, it's slow heat. Some, you can bring on the heat, they can take it, you know. But some, you have to do it gently. I don't know how many people have cooked, you know how to cook salmon. Do you fry salmon the way you fry, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, or maybe my kitchen, my cooking technique is wrong. But then it's very slow heat then, because you just want it. It's slow cook. So let the flavor sink in. When you squeeze in the lemon and anything you put on it, you want the flavor of those things to actually simmer into the food. How many food lovers do we have in the room? I'm sure the food lovers can relate. Yes, I see them. Very good. So timing is everything in branding. Timing is everything. Knowing when to launch a campaign, right? You want to do something, is it possible for you to time it with when something is relevant in a global context or in a local context? Things like that, how to respond to market trends. This is where, hands up to our research team, this is where research plays a good role, keeping us to be well informed. And they're always there with open arms to actually furnish us with all the details that you might need, whether in terms of excuse me, whether in terms of trends, in terms of data, in terms of statistics, that will help you to best understand the market trend of your practice or anything that you need to understand. So let's move on to the next slide, please, because it's like when you're preparing to run a race. So we move over to the temperature control. I talked about that in terms of, is it going to cook very fast? I know some while you're cooking jollof rice, because I know most of us know this jollof thing. You don't cook the too fast, because if it's my burn, how do you prevent? Because I will not lie to you, for a very long time my jollof rice used to get burnt and it was until I understand that concept of, no, it is just slow. It's the steam that is actually making the rice to get soft, and then you're just dropping in little water. So sometimes it's not about, you haven't posted how many things have you posted related to this program we are running, right? It's not about bombarding the audience with so many posts, right? You have to be very, very tactic about it. So it's the same thing as the intensity of your brand engagement. Too aggressive, oh bless you, Habiba, you had mentioned it. Aggressive or passive approach can actually make you to lose your audience, right? So you being able to measure the right temperature will work very well. Then let's look at the tools and equipment, the sharp knives, the mixing bowls, all those things actually help with the cooking process. And that's why we're having things like MailChimp, where you can actually get to move the audience segmentation into a particular place where you can then be giving them specific content. You are managing your audiences very well. That's a good way to utilize different tools. We've talked about presentation, is what is appealing to the eye. What is appealing to the eye, So your visuals, how is it appealing? In this case, also, because it could be in the context of your words, right? Which is the messaging, the tone. All that visual branding comes to play here. Please, let's go to the next slide. I think we're almost getting to the end of not the end of the marathon, but who's leading? I think everyone is leading here. Everyone is awake. Nobody is dropping off the call. So yes, let's keep pushing, right? The marathon looks good. There's a prize waiting at the end of the marathon, and it's actually for everyone. So here we also look at another element. We're looking at taste testing and adjustments, right? Why do we always need to taste food? It's why. As you're cooking, you must taste. Why won't you taste? Because you can't be so sure, like, oh yes, because I've measured, it must be. No, you must taste to make adjustments. That's the same way that there's A and B testing. You test this one against this content. Oh, this is working better. You test this consumer engagement, the way we're engaging our community. Which one is working better? Which one should we do more? Which one should we do less? All this actually comes to play in giving that final brand experience that we all want, that will actually make your work to be less, because it's easy to speak with your audience in a very relatable way at the appropriate time. Then knowing your audience, that's what we are talking about. Remember, in the kitchen, I don't take mushroom. Mushroom, you give me, that's, I'm allergic to it. So you can imagine if after all the presentation, everything, the kitchen did not put in place in terms of actually identifying like allergies, people's allergies, and drawing attention to that, at the end of the day, is not going to create a good experience for your consumer. So particularly understanding the audience, their needs, desires, expectations, it's very important. And this part is where I want us to really look at it. Consistency. Olumide, what are you saying? Yes, allergies. You have something to say about allergies? Olumide, you want me to give you the floor? Okay, brilliant. So we move over to consistency. You don't just do it once and then you chill. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. You must continue to present that thing that is making people to identify you. You must continue. You must continue. It is actually that consistency that builds the brand. That's actually what we see at the end of the day in measuring your brand equity. Right? So it's very, very important to maintain that consistent brand experience over all the touch points. You can imagine brands that have different franchise. The same way we have iHub, we have CCLB Nigeria, we have in Namibia. Any of our community members, whether they are the ones in iHub to Nigeria, they should have that same experience. It should just feel like, wow, because it's the same, remember, DNA that flows, right? The values. So that actually just builds that consistency across. Thanks, Kome, like you mentioned. It just builds that consistency across. Yes. So thank you. Let's keep on flowing. We are doing well. I think we've covered 2 kilometers and we are ending at 3 kilometers or 3.5. We're almost there. People team, thank you. Thank you. People team, yes. So this is the last part that I actually wanted to mention at the initial part. Thank you all for the clap. Thank you. I'm healing you as well. I'm not feeling all alone, even though I'm alone here. So thank you for this great participation. So is this part of adaptability? That's the part where I said there's one key thing I want to talk about that is actually making a once relevant brand to fizzle out because they are not able to adapt. Recipe needs to be adjusted. It doesn't matter because, oh, it's worked like this over this time. Then you continue to dish it like that. You must understand what's changing in the market. Do that competitive analysis, right? Check it out. Check out, are there new consumer preferences that you're missing out? Because before your very eyes, things will just switch, right? So you must actually be very adaptable, be ready to evolve. Thank you for contributing that. Evolution is inevitable. Not even in this time that technology is just taking things away. Blessing, you are in the spirits. What can I say? Nokia story, even BlackBerry story, it's part of the presentation, right? How many of us don't? No. I can remember BlackBerry. It felt like that was where the whole world would end with BlackBerry, right? So let's go on with the presentation because we're going to go through that BlackBerry experience. Let's continue to evolve. Thank you all. I'm just going to assess us for a few minutes. Proceed, people team. So one question, you are to go to the market and you have 1,000 $1,000. I wanted to mention Naira, but then I now considered my Namibian folks. I considered my higher folks, and I said, okay, let me bring up a neutral ground, which is dollars, right? Okay, so as a cook, you have 1,000 to spend on the things below. And remember, you cook in the context of a brand, though. You have to spend $1,000. Don't spend more. Two or three people, can you quickly unmute your mic and tell me how you would spend this money when you get to the market? And why you chose that? We have customer trust, 500. We have innovation. It's more, but these are the ones that we can pick. Okay, just let's use this for this scenario. Please, someone unmute your mic and just tell us briefly. Come, go ahead.
Can I change the money? Like maybe move?
No. This is where you have to just use this. Maybe you will have change. Is good. You have change.
$100 consistency is not enough. It's too small. I need like 300 for consistency.
Oh no, but you can buy multiple. It's $100 for one, but you can say I'm buying 3 consistency. I'm buying one product. So yes, but it's $1,000 that you have.
So yes, 3 consistency. That's 300.
Mm-hmm.
Product quality 2. That's 600. 6 plus 3. That's money has finished. Wow.
Why did you why are you choosing product quality? Okay, I think it explains itself. Continue so that we give room.
What class? That's why. What class? Okay. Consistency 2.
Mm-hmm.
1 product quality.
Mm-hmm.
Then the rest will go on customer trust.
Okay. Good choice. Who's going next? Thanks for that, Come. Consistency, leading. I think Simi.
Yeah.
Head.
Yeah. So I think I'll pick customer trust for $500. Consistency $100, and product quality. For innovation, I think I'll use the remaining $100 to buy half or quarter of some change on innovation, because you can't really, consistency is really key. However, if the product's quality is bad, you will not have consumer trust. So innovation, sure, but product quality for me is key, and consistency and customer trust. You just turn a profit that way. Thank you.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks for that explanation. Yes, good one. Good choice. Remember, you are the chef, you are the brand leader, and the team is counting on you. Adetola, before you, I think Peace, then Tobilola, then Adetola. Before we move on.
All right, thank you. So for me, I'm going to give $400 to product quality because it's literally the foundation of the brand. No matter the kind of marketing, innovation, or trust building I do, if the product has low quality, it's not going to create that good success.
$300. 300. So
$300.
700 left. Yes. To product quality.
Yes, so the next is going to be customer trust, because to make sure that there is that long-term success with the good policy, I want to make sure that customer trust is built. Next to that's 250. Consistency, $200, because every single thing has to be aligned with all touch points. It must be consistent, messaging and whatnot. Innovation, $150. That's share of my money.
Yeah, everybody has started doing portion. Remember, when you get something, because with this one we are saying innovation is 400. The portion of the innovation, that means it's not innovating, no. It is just innovate. It's not innovation. It is just innovate, right? Okay, thanks for contributing. Okay, Tobilola, over to you.
Hi, thank you, Busola. So as a cook, this is how I'm going to spend my money. I do believe that product quality is the most important thing. So yes, the product has to be good. So as a cook of my small chops company, so product quality 300, consistency 100, and customer trust 500. I think that customer trust covers the innovation, because you really don't want to keep innovating and doing new things when something already works, right? Like, it already works. That's why you have customer trust. And so the customer trust would give you feedback on what to do. So I think that with the 900, 500, 300, 100, I can sort out innovation, because I will get the feedback I need to innovate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I see we are all getting our thinking caps on, and this is where it gets better. Thanks for that. Sorry, I'm just going to I just want to quickly get the door for something, but I'm listening to everyone. Continue, Adetola, please.
All right. I think I'll go by 50-50. So whatever I give to product quality, I'll give to customer trust. So I'll give product quality 400, customer trust 400. Innovation is relative depending on the department and the organization. So it's consistency as well. So depending on the market dynamics. So I'll give both consistency and innovation 100, and customer trust and product quality 400. So I'll go by that formula.
Sorry, Adetola, I think I missed the part. What did you say? Just briefly.
Oh, okay. So I said I'll use a formula of 50-50.
Okay.
Whatever I give product quality, I'll give it to customer trust, because the customer is the backbone of the business, right? So whatever I give consistency, I'll give to innovation, because innovation is also relative depending on the needs and the decision of the department or organization, and consistency as well, depending on the market dynamics, right? So consistency as well is also relative. So I'll give consistency and innovation 100, while customer trust and product quality 400.
Everybody now is doing fractional distillation, fractional maths, the cutting 1 quarter. Cutting, so we are saying customer trust a bucket. I will collect one Derica tin of customer trust. Thanks for that contribution. But you see how it's getting us to think. I am Blessing. Yes, please, over to you. Thank you all for participating. 2 more minutes for us to dwell on this question, then we move over. Blessing, over to you, please.
Okay, thanks, Busola. I would do customer trust for $500, innovation for 400, and then consistency for 100. So for innovation, I believe that if you're innovating, that covers your product quality. So that's exactly why I'll go for those 3.
Brilliant. You see how people are being creative now. Everybody is thinking deeply. Really, thank you all for thinking deeply like that, because really in the real world, I'm very practical. We face these kind of scenarios where you have to decide. Decision making is key. So what's guiding your thoughts of choosing this over this? Choosing this over this one? Why? That's what this assessment is helping us to rethink about. So Tolulope, over to you. And Adetayo will be the last for now, so we can move on. Tolulope, over to you, please.
Okay. First things first, customer trust. And obviously, product quality is embedded with customer trust. So I'll go with the next with innovation. And obviously, you can't go wrong with consistency. I'll take Coca-Cola as an example. So just
okay, thank you very much, Tolulope. Then over to you, Adetayo, the final person for now, before we go to the next question.
All right. Product quality is very important, but from my own perspective, it's something I can get from innovation, because we have different type of innovation. We have market innovation, product innovation, strategy, process, everything. I can get that from innovation. Then I'll go for customer trust, because they are the one I'm marketing the product. They are the one generating my revenue. I'm getting my revenue from them. So I'll go for that. Then I'll put consistency. Let me be dishing it out. Service, let me serve them, give it to them. That's it.
Very good, very good. You see how we are thinking. People are now bringing their expertise knowledge, what they understand. See how he broke down innovation. For some of us that don't have that deep insight into innovation, you see how you're at stake. So this is where capacity building comes in, and it actually helps in the whole essence of decision making. And everybody, you've all spoken, trust me, there was no wrong answer. It's a thing of choice. It's a thing of decision. It's a thing of this is how we all face situations, and then we must decide, are we going to compromise this now for this, knowing that in this one, we will still improve this in that aspect. Blessing gave a brilliant answer about innovation. If they're saying you're innovating, sometimes innovation comes, it's the product quality that you're improving. That's the innovation. Sometimes the innovation is even in the marketing, right? So that will actually help to build that consumer trust. We will see a practical example of how Coca-Cola, the popular brand we all know about, is doing that with their marketing. So it doesn't always have to be very, very technical, and that's where innovation comes in. Maybe people team later on, I believe with this Skill Up Friday, there will be that topic of that innovation, because innovation is at the core of what we do at CC Hub, and then we actually get to understand these concepts. So thank you all for your participation. Great one. Let's move over to question 2. This is getting better and better. I am so excited. So in the kitchen, timing is everything. You can't rush a perfect slow cooked meal. Remember, I talked about the one of the jollof rice, and you can't let it burn either. How do you balance being patient with your brand strategy while still knowing when to make quick adjustments? So what would you do? Which one would you go for here? Constantly review customer feedback and market trends, stick to a fixed annual strategy without deviation, launch campaigns whenever competitors do. You are always just benchmarking. What are my competitors doing? So you just be doing the same thing, right? Avoid making any changes until a problem arises. You are the waitress or the waiter. No proactiveness. A and D are no go. Okay. Oh, yeah. So what would you, let's
Sorry, I meant B and D. Sorry.
I was wondering. Okay. So let's continue. Are you okay? Which one would you go for? If you had to choose one, actually, just choose one. Which would you go for and why?
Okay, somebody's speaking. Go ahead.
I can't see the person, I think. Okay, Adetayo. Go ahead, please.
So if I'm to choose one, I will go for constant review customer feedback, because this is at the heart of whatever decision you want to make. You make customer first, as the first bank usually say. You treat your customer for every feedback you are getting from them. They are exposed to the products, your services. They know what it entails. So whatever feedback you are getting from them, you use it to shape your services or your products.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Adetayo. Similar, Lua, go ahead, please.
Okay, so I think I want to give a very funny lawyer's response. I'll pick B. Your fixed annual strategy. B. Your fixed annual strategy should already include reviewing customer feedback and market trends. So when you have that strategy already in place, you already have that constant review of customer feedback and market trends factored in your fixed annual strategy. So it's better to I'll choose B because of that reason. So it also covers I mean C is a no-go because you don't want to distract from your annual message and all that. But avoid making changes until a problem arises. That's a no-go for me. But B kind of encapsulates A. So that's me giving a lawyer's response. Thank you.
So B for you. Okay, who else? Blessing, over to you, please.
Just a quick one.
Oh,
Sorry to interject.
oh, sorry, Abiba
I
had
just want to
mentioned,
push
yes.
back on the B because the B says without deviation. So what if the feedback is asking us or showing us we need to deviate? Would you still stick with the person who said B?
Simile Oluwa, question to you.
Yes, I was with B. I stand by my answer.
Lawyer's view. Okay, this is where profession comes in. All right, Blessing, over to you.
Yes, so I was going to choose A, constantly review customer feedback and market trends. And I was also going to comment on what Simi said. I was going to say that I wouldn't stick to fixed annual strategy because you're constantly reviewing can actually save your business from crumbling. And even in project management, you have a plan from the beginning, but you're constantly reviewing, constantly giving feedback, and constantly sort of meeting with the clients to say, from our learnings, we need to go this way. You know, we had initially said we're going to do this, but from what we're seeing, the better decision to make at this point is to do this. So you're constantly reviewing until you get to the end. But if you stubbornly stick to a strategy, without deviating, then the Nokia BlackBerry story can actually happen. So that's what I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for that contribution, Gbemisola, and then over to Abiba so we can close. I want to wrap up the presentation in 15-20 minutes. So we'll have more time.
Okay, thank you. So
go ahead.
I think I was wavering a bit between A and B, but honestly, I think I would stick with A. You know, from experience, because I just agreeing with what Blessing has just said. The no without deviation part, I think is the bit of a downfall for the B. If it was I think the best recipe, unfortunately we're picking just one option, but I think the best recipe is basically matching B with A, in sense that you have a fixed strategy that you're working with, but then you can review constantly if that strategy is working. Even in finance, at the end of every quarter, we're checking if whatever we set at the beginning of the year is still reasonable to the end of the year, or do we need to change it here or there. So I think with that, I would stick with A as my answer.
Okay, great. Abiba, final contribution.
I would also choose A simply because that's how you can detect patterns of like your customers' interests, needs, and wants. And according to that, you can deviate your communication effort towards that. But what I would also add, some of the feedback are what that person is feeling at that moment and not necessarily how they generally feeling. Like, let's say they had a bad experience with something, they're placing their whole feedback according to that one bad experience. So it also takes a lot of like detail, I would say, to when you decide to deviate or make a change. So like not necessarily making a change every 2-3 weeks because of like some feedback, but actually taking the time to find those patterns that are like coming through and adjust according to that.
Okay, thank you all for your contribution. Very valuable contribution, insights here and there, professional insight, things like that. I just want to draw us to this. In cases like this, that's why we read carefully and we read options carefully. If you look at A, it says constantly reviewing. What are you reviewing? That means there's something in place to be reviewed. So it doesn't mean that there's no strategy in place. There's already a strategy in place, but you are reviewing. Remember the last bit that I mentioned that I said adaptability. It is those that can adapt that can review. It is those that are flexible to changes that can review. So it's that automatically just negates B. Stick to a fixed no. So the real answer is actually, this is where there's a big answer for us to choose, is constantly review, because that means there's already something in place and we are just going back to review it. Really, we are going back either to review the feedback mechanism we are using, and we are then able to match what's happening. We are going back based on market trends and saying we are not serving these markets well here in this concept. Let's do that. And that's why every team should always have that strategy review meetings with their team members, And for communications, that's why we try to have that strategy meeting with the different teams, with the different practices. Let's review what went well, what didn't go well in this state, and then we get to understand. So this brings us to understand why these things are in place. So thank you all again. Like I always say, the energy is really flowing, is simmering through the screen to me. So thank you. I'm smelling the aroma. It's feeling. I'm so full. Thank you all. So the third question here. A kitchen without a recipe is chaos, right? We all know that. How do you maintain attention to detail in your brand process to ensure all elements align seamlessly? Just two answers, two people to answer this question. Follow a detailed plan for each brand element from messaging to product experience. 2, rely on improvisation and make decisions on the fly, which is on the go. Focus only on the big picture without worrying about small details. Handle brand elements separately with no integrated approach. Which one would you say is your answer? Adetayo, are you sure you don't want to have an experience of communications, Okay, Adetayo, go ahead.
All right, I'll go for hey. And why am I going for hey? Because it's already detailed, planned already. So I don't need to lose focus. Stick to that detailed plan and follow it. That's it.
Okay, great. Does anyone have a contrary answer? I guess this is where brand guides come in, right? It's just as simple as that. The brand guide is actually meant to be that detailed plan. So that's why sometimes it's also good we review. Like in the case of Campbell reached out, oh, there's a part of the brand guide we go back and review. That's where the adaptability comes in. Don't be too rigid or no, we put something in place, it cannot be tweaked, right? It's to just make sure it is well detailed enough to be usage. The use case is very, very applicable in the context of how the organization operates.